So this real talk, I should say, is for one of you. I don't know which one. I don't claim to be any superpower or be in touch with the enlightened ones or any of the other things that people often talk about, have millions of viewers. But it's a real talk about something that I had a dream about last night. And literally, just hours ago, I just woke up. And it's been playing in my head that I needed to say this. So this message, whoever you are, is for you. And I need you to know that it comes from the heart. I know right now you feel like everything and everyone is against you. You feel like they're awaiting your downfall. And you yourself are ready to give in. And I'm here to tell you, my friend, that you can't do that. You have to keep going. You have to keep trying. We all fall off the horse. We all do. Every single one of us. We've all fallen down. Thankfully, a lot of the times we've had somebody to help get us back up. Sometimes, through a lot of struggle, we've had to, push and grab and grasp at and do whatever we had to do to just lift our own self up. And you have done that before. And you can do it again. I know it seems hard. I know that it doesn't matter what videos you watch or what books you read and how much better you know it could be. You feel like you're just not getting there and it's just not meant for you and you don't deserve to be happy. But that's just not true. That's what they want you to believe. Who are they? I don't know. In general, it's everything. Mostly, it's yourself. The they of the equation that doesn't want you to succeed is that part of yourself that you haven't confronted yet. It's that part of yourself that you've been carrying around this whole time, who just is that voice that says, you don't deserve it. You're not worthy. Not today, my friend. Well, my friend, I know all too well that voice will keep beating you down, and it will keep, every time you try to get back up, it'll be the one that comes over and trips you. And I'm here to tell you that from a personal level, that the only thing that's keeping you from seeing the smallest little things in life, in this experience, that can make you happy is you. I try not to sound like feel-goody YouTube channels, but they have a point. And that point is that you have to love yourself. But you have to learn to love yourself. You're not going to wake up one day and just love yourself. You're not going to meditate for a few months and just love yourself. This is a process. I am 50 years old. For 20 plus years, I could not look myself in the mirror. I hated myself. I still hate parts of myself. And you will too. But that doesn't mean it's time to give up. When I say give up, I'm not talking about you ending yourself. I'm not talking about you doing anything else. I'm not talking about anything in general because I don't know who I'm talking to. All I know is I was told to make this message. I was told to tell you, don't give up. I've watched millions of videos just like the rest of you have, and I've seen people say, oh, I've channeled this person and channeled that person. I don't know anything about channeling. I don't channel anything. I'm lucky if I can get through TV channels. But I have recently been having dreams, just dreams of things to say. Something saying something, and I woke up with an overwhelming urge this morning that I had to say what I'm saying now. Basically, I was told to say that, don't give up, keep going. And for some reason, I don't know why, and I don't know who's going to listen to this. I don't know what your favorite music is, and it might not be this, but for some reason, a certain song kept going over and over in my head, and it was by the Notorious B.I.G., the beginning, the lyrics of one of my favorite songs, and it was, I know how it feels to wake up, fucked up, pockets broke as hell, another rock to sell. People look at you like you're the user, selling drugs to all the losers, mad Buddha abuser. But they don't know about the stress-filled day, baby on the way, mad bills to pay. That's why you drink Kangaroo, so you can reminisce and wish you wasn't living so devilish. It's an everyday struggle. Those words from B.I.G. mean something when you think about it. Doesn't mean that you're a drug dealer. Doesn't mean that you're growing up in the ghetto. Doesn't mean any of that. It just means that you can relate to those words. And those words were in the dream. And I feel that they had to be said in this real talk to whoever this message is for. Because what it's trying to convey to you is that it understands and it wants you to keep going. It wants you not to give up hope. I don't want you to give up hope. If there's anything, and I've said this before, I'm just a guy on YouTube, but if there's anything that I can do, if we can talk, then reach out to me. I feel you. I feel what you're feeling. I see it in the comments. I resonate. I resonate more with the folks that talk about how hard it is for them to accept some of these truths, or how hard it is for them to get past the hatred they have for themselves. I feel those comments more than the ones that send love, and I appreciate the people that send love and the people that have already gotten to that level that they've learned these simple and hard truths. But the ones that I relate to the most are the ones that are still underneath the weight, the ones that are still carrying all that on their shoulders. Because I've been there. Again, I was told to tell you not to give up. My friends, there is so much beauty in this world, this experience, whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it an illusion, doesn't matter. It's all semantics. It doesn't really matter. What it is an experience, and you're living it. Now, you may not like that, but I was told to tell you, don't give up. There's so much beauty. If you just allow your mind and your eyes and your senses to wander, the beauty will be shown to you. If you're willing to just open your heart to it, that there's a beauty to everything that we as a race, as a species believe is ugly and demented and evil. There really is a polar opposite of that to it. You need to look for the little things, because what those things do, what they do for me, is they ground me. But back to you. I feel like one of you, maybe many of you, are going to listen to this and you're going to be at your wit's end, or you are at your wit's end. I just had this overwhelming feeling that I was told to say this because it would help you know that there are brighter days ahead, that it doesn't have to be the way it is, and you can change it. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. Nothing is easy in this life. I don't care what anybody says. Nothing is easy. Change is hard. Change is really, really hard. I know right now you feel like you're not. I'm just done. I'm ready to give up. I don't want this anymore. I understand that. I've been there. If you have anything that you love, anything that, no matter at the end of the day how much you hated everything about that day, if there's one thing you look forward to, every time you get down, your own self is telling you you aren't worthy, think of that and claw your way back up. Do your very best not to hurt anybody else in that process. You will not succeed by hurting others. It's just not possible. Take that from a man who fell down and almost never got back up. I know how it feels to wake up fucked up. You have to start putting in the work to understand how you can forgive yourself, move on from your past, and just focus on making your reality exactly that, your reality. It is your experience. Experience it how it makes you feel happy. There are going to be, well, I could say speed bumps, but sometimes they're more like sinkholes. There are going to be plenty of those, but you can get out of it. I made another Real Talk last week, but I didn't release it because it was a little less refined. And I know that none of my Real Talks are really refined at all because it's just me rambling. But I'm going to end this now, and I'm going to play parts of that. It's kind of being forced in the back of my mind that it's something that you need to hear. Again, I don't know who this was for. I know it was me just rambling on. But there's one of you that had to hear, don't give up. I hope that these words somehow helped. I love you. I know that means nothing coming from a man talking through, a speaker. But it's not just me that loves you. It loves you too. And it wanted me to tell you that. What is it? Like I said, folks, God, source, universe, the Cheesecake Factory, I don't really know. But it does love you. And it will show you that. And I know because it showed me. I was walking down a back alley one time in Montana. I was out there for vacation. And instead of taking the main road where all the tourists were, I decided to walk through the back alleys. And I'm glad I did.
Because one of the best things that I ever saw for graffiti, and I've seen a lot of graffiti being a graffiti artist myself, was somebody tagged on a wall in simple paint where nobody would really see it, "Your problems are not as big as they seem." At the age of 50, I really couldn't give you any better advice than that. Now, it may not sound like advice, it may sound like a statement, but really, that is advice. Because listen, we all have problems. Every single person on this planet has problems. Everyone. But the problem is, your problems aren't as big as they seem. My problems are not as big as the guy that lives next door to me. That guy's problems aren't as big as the guy that lives down the road. The guy that lives down the road's problems aren't as big as the guy that lives in the box behind his house down the road. You see where I'm going with this? It's a funny thing is that I actually do homeless outreach, and something that I hear often when I ask the guys on the street, "Hey, how you doing?" They say, could be worse. That's a homeless man telling me, could be worse. And then I go home, I see my neighbors, I hear from my family, my friends, and all they're doing is complaining about how their life is horrible. It could be worse. I hear it a lot. I see it even in the comments. And folks, I know it's hard. I understand. I've been through it. I really have. I've been on my own since I was 15. I could sit here and tell you all the things that I've done in my life and gone through my life, but it really won't amount to anything. It won't amount to anything that you haven't probably gone through or 100,000 other people haven't gone through. I've been on the streets, I've been in jail, I've been everywhere. But now I've realized that my problems aren't as big as they seem. There's always going to be somebody out there that is walking in a pair of shoes that you would never even attempt to put on. Think about that. Think about that every time you say, "Oh, my TV broke," or "Oh, my Xbox game isn't loading," or "Your car broke down." It could be you're out of money, your bills went up, Netflix went up, whatever the heck it may be. It could be even your disease. You could have a sickness. I actually have a disease, and I understand that. Like, if you're blessed enough to have insurance or people that love you and people who care for you or doctors that are good and stuff like that, that shouldn't even stand in your way. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but the reason I have my problem, my issue, is because of what I did to myself. So I drank way too much, and here I am. I can't blame anybody for that. It ain't the universe's fault. It ain't God's fault. It isn't the guy that lives in the box down the road's fault. It's my fault. But I've learned that I'm still here. 7 years sober, I'm still here. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen in 10 days. I don't know what's going to happen in a year. But it's not my problem. I'm not going to sit here and worry about it. We all sit there and we worry, and we constantly worry about the future, or we constantly dwell on our past. How many of you wake up every morning and go, "Man, I hope an asteroid doesn't hit the planet Earth tonight and wipe us out like the dinosaurs"? I'm guessing none of you do that. So if you're not worried about that, or nuclear weapons falling out of the sky, especially in today's trivial times, why would you be worried about how you're going to pay for this bill, or how you're going to do this, or how are we going to get to that vacation, or blah, 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 blah? You have no control over the future. You can plan for it. If you've got bills coming up, you can plan to do that. If you want to go on that vacation, you can plan to do that. But then again, remember, nothing is guaranteed in this life. The longer you sit around and woe is me, I've got this and I've got that, every time you do that, I want you to think about those things that are completely out of your control. And if you can't stop them, why sit there and worry about what you can't control in your personal life? If it's in your past, move on. If it's in your future, plan for it, but don't expect it. Don't wait every now moment for that future moment. Your problems are not as big as they seem. There are people all over this world that are going through horrors right now, and they have been since the beginning of this experience. So whenever you think about how bad your life is and how bad your problems are, think about them for a second. And if you say to yourself, "Well, I don't really care about them," or "It's not really real," and "They're not part of my inner self experience," blah, 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 then I don't even want you to listen to the channel anymore. I don't want you part of this experience. Because that's the problem. We're very self-centered, even when it comes to spiritualism, especially with spiritualism. I see it just as much here as I did with religion. Everybody's worried about me and worried about my little inner circle. But no one's concentrating on what they have control over and what they don't have control over. The only person that's holding you back in this whole thing is you. That's it. Nobody else is holding you back. It's not your boss. It's not your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your kids, your neighbor, the guy down the road, living in a box. It's none of them. The only person that can control what's happening to you is you. That's it. Got a drinking problem? Want to quit? Can't get into rehab? That's on you. Got a drug problem? Can't quit? It's hard. Can't get over it. Gonna let people keep enabling me. I wish somebody would come to my rescue. That's not gonna happen. It's on you. I can say that. I'm an alcoholic. I understand. But guess what? It took me a while, and finally I figured it out that it's up to me to fall down, hit rock bottom, and pull myself back up. Thankfully, there were people still there to help me get up, but it's up to you to fall down and get there. All these problems, all these things that we make up in our mind, all these things that we say, oh, well, I can't do any of this because the government doesn't do this, or that guy doesn't do this, or it's the Democrats' fault, or it's Republicans' fault. It's not. It's your fault. It's your fault because you haven't moved on past it. It's your fault because you're dwelling in a future and in a past that you really have no control over. Your problems are not as big as they seem. I'm just trying to be honest with you. I see this and I hear this all day, every day. I see the complaining. I see the negativity. I see the horrors going on in this world. You have no control over what's going to happen. Unless you plan for it, you can be prepared. Planning for something in your future is preparing for something in your future. It's not guaranteeing that thing in the future. Trust me, I know personally. I've lost, I've gained, I've seen, I've saw, I've done, I've committed, I've non-committed, I've done it all. I'm 50. Some people say I have an old soul, so maybe I feel 80 half the time, so that makes sense. But what I'm trying to get across one last time is your problems are not as big as they seem. The only person that's stopping you from seeing that and knowing that is you. That's it. Nobody else. It's nobody else's fault. It's not what happened to you in the past, and it's not what might happen to you in the future. You get a horrible sickness and you're gonna die in a couple months. You can sit around and be negative about it, or you can try to enjoy those last couple of months. And then you can also realize that that's not the end of it. Listen, I say this with love. This is hard love. Your problems are not as big as they seem. You have it within you to realize this and to enjoy the gift that you've been given to live out this experience. I love you all. Walk in light.
Until next time, my friends, I ask all people everywhere to plant seeds of love, peace, joy, and oneness. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.